G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good and excellent in your part of the world. Watch review today of something a little special and unique. This is the TRITON Spirotechnique Sport Black. And I think that you'll agree the vintage vibes that you'll be getting off this one will be having you hunting down a suitable and appropriate black polo neck sweater and a Renault Caravelle at least before the end of this video, or maybe even perhaps by the midpoint. Before I get into the specs, I do feel I need to set the scene, so bear with me a little bit. As a vintage watch, this has sort of got me thinking a little bit about watches and life in general. Sure, your phone tells time, but a watch is always there. It's that quiet companion. There's always something satisfying about glancing at your wrist rather than pulling out that glowing screen. It feels more intentional, perhaps, owning a watch, and specifically something like this one. You're in control of time and not the other way around. And like most things we own today, a good watch can last decades. Something like this is going to get better with age, develop patina and wear that makes it more personable. There's a kind of longevity that's rare in a world built around upgrades and replacements. So when First Class Watches, the good friends over at First Class Watches, asked me to review the TRITON Spirotechnique, I knew absolutely nothing of the brand, never heard of the watches before, or the brand, etc. So I felt a review would be a little bit short without going into some background. I reached out to the brand via their website, and Jean-Sebastian, the owner of the brand, responded immediately, and we booked a video call. What a fascinating gentleman, and I have to thank him for his time, openness, friendliness, and just general bonhomie, wanting to share information with us about the brand so that I can then relate it to you guys here on the channel. Reminds me how much of a privilege it is for me to have this channel and get to be able to speak to people in the watch industry. This particular watch that we're looking at here is a project of passion, and it's a love of history I think that I know will resonate with many of you. Let's just zoom in a fraction. So there we are. Now watch for today, the Spirotechnique. Really, very interesting offer that's feature packed, and I think it's just the history that you're getting with this, which is just absolutely stunning. Jean-Sebastian, the brand owner, like most of us, has been interested in watches for ages, and by chance he found an old TRITON Spirotechnique on the French equivalent of Craigslist, was at Gumtree. He loved it so much he was encouraged to investigate more, and ended up buying the sleeping brand as it lay dormant in Switzerland. The brand had been created in the 1960s as creating dive tools specifically for the divers who were part of Jacques Cousteau's team. Aqualung might ring a bell to many of you. 1960s Tritons were unique and leaps ahead of others in terms of their crown guards and their crowned screw-down crown. Colonel Parmentier came up with that concept, and much thanks should be owed to him. The 60s versions were up against some heavy hitters, but they were even more expensive and exclusive. So the success of the brand then as a top-tier elite tool that was only sold in diving stores probably led a little bit to its downfall in the 70s with the influx of the quartz competitors. And of course, as you guys know, many brands suffered the same fate. Jean-Sebastian's goal then with the release of these watches is to maintain that TRITON brand alive in tribute to that legacy. Speaking to him, you can't help but see in his eyes the excitement and the responsibility that he feels in being able to recreate those watches of the 60s. So that's a little bit of an introduction to the brand and to the watch. And let's get down then to some specifics on it. I'm a little bit jealous, I have to say, of that history story, and I really wanted to relate it to you. As I say, I think many of you are going to be able to understand and relate to that. You sort of buy an ancient watch, find out about it, and then end up owning the brand. Just brilliant. So the scary bit for you guys, though, is that these retail currently in the UK at £4,490. More on that a little bit later on. These are then around 39 mils across. It's about 53 and a bit mils north to south, but as you will have seen earlier, you've got an articulating lug here, so that is going to shrink a little bit your north to south accordingly. It's pretty slim and remarkably so for a vintage dive style. It's just 12 and a bit mils deep. Comes with 200 meters worth of watery goodness. While I'm throwing it on wrist, let me tell you as well that they only make 500 units of these a year. So, you know, you're getting something really very, very exclusive. I haven't got it cinched very tight. I could cinch it up a little bit more there so you can see. My wrist is 7¼ inch for reference, and I think this watch looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. It's captured the vintage vibes, and I think the respect that they've paid to the, you know, the original concept of the watch and what it looked like in the past, and the fact that they've recreated it so faithfully just screams out beautiful to me. These then come with a 5-year warranty as well. And then let's just get on to something else. The bezel. One of the things that jumped out to me immediately is the font that they've used on the bezel. And I'll pop up an image here so you can look back at the old one, the original one. They've kept that font. And I think, you know, with the slightly smaller zeros on there, I think, again, it just looks absolutely superb. You've got a synthetic resin insert, so almost creates a little bit of those, what should we call them, the Bakelite visuals. And it sounds like this. 120 click up. And that spring is really, really, really solid. So pleasing to hear. 1 second, let me just realign up the top there. Yeah, alignment is excellent as well, as you would expect. And as I say, lovely, lovely feel on that bezel. I mean, the knurlings on the side aren't massively, you know, aren't huge in order for you to get a grip on. But again, you know, finger thumb on opposite sides there. You've got a teensy bit of a lip here on either side, just to be able to give you, you know, that purchase area. Of course, all facilitated by the crown at the 12. A wiser man than me once said that a watch is nothing without the movement, but there's more to a watch than the movement. So for important information, buzzing away inside here, we have a Lejeune Perret G100, and that's connected up to the crown there, obviously at the 12. I can't help emphasizing how beautiful and refined that articulation is there up at on this lug. It is fantastic. It's so smooth, silky, silky smooth, and the machining is excellent also. Seen quite a few watches like this, the ZRC, the Tudor. I think we had a Larco in not so long ago as well, with featuring that position at the 12. The articulation is fundamental in this case because you need access to the crown. I'll get onto that in a second. Coming back to that G10 movement, again, I've read quite a bit about it because I didn't know a lot about it. But people who know more about it than I do suggest that it's a sort of Miyota 9015 clone with the ETA 2824 dimensions and refinement. It beats at 28,800 beats per hour, 68-hour power reserve, hacking, and the action is good, but that access to it is slightly restricted. You've really got to use the tips of your fingers and thumb in order to unscrew, and it does become just that tinsy bit fiddly. You notice as well that, sorry, I can't see through the camera again, so the action on that is very good and smooth, no problem at all there. And if I just missed it there, you will also notice that you have a red and black date wheel alternating there, so a little bit of extra visual stimulation there for you. I think coming back to the crown, because I think the time adjustment is okay, but that re-engage is also a little bit tough to do, just a little bit fiddly. Yes, I know I've got large hands and large fingers, so other people with smaller hands might not have that same issue. I'm flagging it up here for you. And I think the primary reason for that, let me just get in a fraction closer, is that you can see that the crown here is very faithful to the original. I'll put it up to the next to the side. But the difference being is that the crown on the original, the knurling was vertical, straight up, very easy to grip, which is good. But what they've done here on this one is that they've sloped the knurling into the top of the signed crown there, which means it is that, you know, you have less purchase area on it. Again, if you've got smaller fingers, you might be okay. So where did I want to go next? So the lume on here is Super Luminova Old Radium, and it looks like this. Just again, sorry, I can't help but giggle. I just think it looks absolutely beautiful. Note that there is a sister model to these, and that's referred to as the Classic Black, and that comes with applied markers and C3 loom, so you're getting some slightly different visuals there. The rubber strap on here is pliable and comfortable, and obviously, you know, with the faithful holes here resembling a tropic, very, very nice indeed. One thing I didn't understand, and I forgot to ask Jean Sebastian about this, is that there's a sub-photic, which is a heavier spec watch, and it's also slightly cheaper, actually comes then on a steel bracelet. And I'm wondering perhaps if Jean Sebastian might think about this one, because I think that for the price on one of these, a steel bracelet is almost fundamental, because the price point that you're selling this at is you know, pushing into territory of some very, very serious competition. But I think what is going to attract people to the sub-photique is simply that you're getting something really very exclusive, highly limited, and you're going to stand out in a crowd, a crowded watch room, crowded watch market with a bit of tributary history that looks the absolute nuts. The current model is entirely faithful to the brand DNA of the 1960s, and then there's the prestige that that brand carries. Opens doors to watch owners, the group, the Triton tribe that you might stumble into as your travels across the globe. You kind of have to get in through that door over there to join the Triton tribe. A little bit challenging for some of us, but I think that, again, it's kind of unique. It's a little bit niche, but I think it's really going to resonate with some people. Coming on to other aspects of the watch, you do then get, I didn't reference it earlier, beautiful smelling, feeling leather packaging here. But a very good friend of the channel did point out to me that the zip, as you can see there, just dips a little bit, and it's very close to where the watch sits on its cushion, just in there. So perhaps moving the zip to another side or having the cushion facing inwards might be better, because what you don't want to be doing is running that zip across the top of your watch every time you get it out. Jean Sebastian shared with me very generously again that there will be some new models coming out soon. Here's a quick view of one of those. It's a limited edition, designed in conjunction with the French Navy. And yeah, absolutely, again, beautiful, stunning. I hope to be able to get the details of those more in the future. And then again, yeah, I'm going to keep in touch with Jean Sebastian. He just, you know, strikes me as being a really nice, interesting human being who's got a passion, you know, a crazy passion that drives him, you know, is interested in watches, the same as the rest of us guys that watch these videos. The TRITON Spirotechnique then, historic, unique, backed up by the passion of a true watch nutter, and I just can't help but wish him and the brand every success indeed. Massive thanks again to you guys, as always, for your time and for your view. And again, thanks guys to the guys at First Class Watches. Again, you can see they're bringing on really new, interesting brand options for us. Yeah, doing a sterling job. Thanks as always to you guys for your time and for your view, and we'll catch you all in the next watch vid. Cheers, guys.